We can create users, but they can't come back and prove who they are. In this lesson, we'll add login and logout, and along the way, meet the session, which is how a web app remembers you from one request to the next. Logging in is the mirror image of registering. We look up the user by their username, then check that the password they typed matches the hash we stored. Both register and login need that find the user by username lookup, so this is a good moment to pull it into a shared helper instead of writing the query twice. Let's create a utils folder at the project root with an empty init file, so it is a package, and a helpers file inside it. This is just the username lookup we wrote inline in the register view, moved into a function. It takes an open connection and a username, runs the select, and returns the row or none. We'll keep adding small helpers like this to the utils helpers file as the app grows. Let's use it back in the views file. First, update the imports to bring in session from Quart and our new helper, get user by username. Now that we have the helper, simplify the duplicate check in register to use it. Replace the inline select with a call to get user by username. Let's write the login view below register. The top mirrors registration, same form, same validate, on submit. We look up the user by their username using our helper. Then comes the check. We reject the login if there's no such user, or if the verify function on pbkdf2 SHA-256 says the typed password doesn't match the stored hash. Verify hashes the incoming password and compares, so we never have to unhash anything. Here's a subtle but important security choice. Whether the username was wrong or the password was wrong, we return the exact same message, invalid username or password. If we said no such user versus wrong password, we'd be telling an attacker which usernames exist. So we stay vague on purpose. If the credentials are good, we log the person in by storing their ID and username in the session. The session is a small, signed cookie Quart manages for us. On every later request, we can read the user ID stored in the session to know who's making it. Then we redirect to the home endpoint on Post app, but that endpoint doesn't exist yet, so login has nowhere to land. Let's build a minimal home page for it. Create a post package with a views file. Later this chapter, it'll grow into the friend feed. For now, it just needs a home route. The route is guarded. If there's no username in the session, a logged out visitor is bounced back to login. Otherwise, we render the home template. Register the blueprint in the application file, right alongside user app. Now the template. Create the homepage template in the post folder. It reads the username straight from the session to greet the user by name, visible proof the login stuck. Now login has a real page to land on. Login renders its own template, very similar to register. Create the login template in the user folder. It's the register template with the labels changed. The one new piece is the loop over get flashed messages. That's where the please login message we flashed after registration shows up in a green success alert. Flash messages appear exactly once on the very next page, and then they're gone. Now logout, which is the simplest view, we'll write, add it below login. Logging out just means forgetting who the user is, so we pop their ID and username out of the session. We flash a goodbye message and send them back to the login page. No password, no database, just clearing the cookie. The last thing is to make the navbar aware of whether someone is logged in. Open the navbar file and make the right side depend on the session. Templates can read the session directly, so we check the username on the session. If someone is logged in, we show a logout link, otherwise we show login and register. It doesn't make sense to offer logout to a visitor who was never logged in. Let's test the whole loop. Restart the app, register if you haven't, then log in. The navbar switches to logout, proving the session is set. Click logout and it flips back. We now have real accounts with real sessions, which is exactly what we need before users can start following each other in the next lesson.